one more time. So for today's math lesson, you're going to need your right angle detector, excuse me, some form of straight edge, whether it's your protractor, your template, or just a ruler, and your student math workbook, open to page 71. Cooper?
I already did the homework.
We're not doing the homework. We're doing the lesson 15.
Oh. Well, on the school sheet, it said homework lesson 15.
Oh. Let's see. For Thursday, it says lesson 15 must do problems. Are you on the right page? Today is Thursday, right? Today Thursday. Yeah, Thursday, May 27th. So you see, this is the lesson 15 video, and I put up there that we will be watching part of this in the Zoom, so you didn't need to preview it unless you wanted to. And then we're going to be doing some must-do problems, and then you have extra math for today. So is this what you looked at, Cooper? Or were you looking at a different day?
I thought must-do problems were the homework for lesson 15.
Nope, if you keep flipping through your book, remember, just like in class, the first day we do the a lot of the teaching and the must-do problems, and then usually the second day is the homework problems. Okay. All right, so have your books open to page 71. You should have your pencil ready to go because we're going to be doing numbers 1 through 4 with the video. When I share my screen, I can only see 3 people at a time, and it does scroll through everyone, so I can just make sure you're all following along. But if you need me to stop, if you have a question, please just unmute yourself and speak up in case I don't have you on my screen at that time, okay? Give me a thumbs up if you understand my directions, because I don't want to keep moving on if you have a question. Soren, do you understand the directions? Sophia? I said, it looks like you were gone. If you have a question and I don't see your hand during the video, just unmute yourself and speak up, okay? Soren, are you listening? So do you understand the directions? So what should you be doing so I know you understand? Look at the screen. Everyone else is following the direction. What should you be doing right now? So I know there you go. So I know you understand. It's hard because we're not in school and I can't see that you're following along. Okay, make sure I share my sound with you. Today is the last real math lesson that we have this school year. So that should make you excited. You survived 4th grade math.
Welcome back, friends. Today's lesson is all about classifying quadrilaterals.
You hear the video?
Here's what you're going to need for today's lesson. Think. What do you know about quadrilaterals? Perhaps you know that they all have 4 straight sides. Some examples are squares and rectangles. Let's look at problem 1 on our problem set. Here, it's asking us to construct a quadrilateral with at least one set of parallel sides.
Okay, so I want you to underline the word quadrilateral and underline at least one pair of parallel sides. So we're going to be drawing something that is a quadrilateral. So what is a quadrilateral? What does that mean? Sarah?
A shape with 4 sides.
4 sides, very good. Sarah, what does it mean if it says at least one pair of parallel sides?
You can have more, but the minimum is 1.
Very good. I love how you said that. You can have more, but you need to have at least one. But Sarah, what are parallel sides?
There are sides that can go on forever and never touch.
Right. If you extend them as far as they will travel into infinity and beyond, they will never cross or intersect one another. Very good.
Let's start by drawing a straight horizontal segment. Next, let's use our right angle template and our ruler to draw a segment that's parallel to the first segment. If you can recall from a previous lesson, we do this by lining up our right angle template below the horizontal line we just drew.
Here she's going to help you make sure that your lines are parallel.
Then we use our ruler and place it flush along the other side of the right angle template, like this. Next, applying pressure, we slide our right angle template down along the ruler.
So this is just making sure.
We can then draw that second line, which will be parallel to the first one that we just drew. Next, we draw a third segment that crosses both of the previous segments. Finally, we draw a fourth segment that crosses both, but does not cross the third segment that we just drew. Take a moment to compare your quadrilateral with mine, looking at angle size and side length.
Okay, so you should be following along and drawing the figures also.
For example, I noticed that my quadrilateral has both one obtuse angle and one acute angle. It also has 2 right angles. What do you notice about yours? One thing is for certain. All of our quadrilaterals have at least one set of parallel sides, which means all of our quadrilaterals are trapezoids. Say that word with me.
I'm going to say trapezoid.
Trapezoids. Perhaps some of your trapezoids might have other familiar names, like rectangle. Go ahead and pause the video here, and I'd like you to construct 2 more trapezoids for problem 1.
So I'm going to pause it right now, but I'm going to show you. For the first one, I'm going to let you do it with her. And just so you can see, in 2, 3, and 4, I will pause it so you can draw some on your own. So your job would be to draw 2 more pictures. And if you have your template, you could actually use some of the things that you have and just trace them, because then your lines will still be straight. But your job would be to make 2 more geometric figures that stick with these rules. So they have to be quadrilaterals, and they have to have at least one set of parallel sides. So I'm going to play it so you can.
We'll compare our
what you would
trapezoids
do
when we return.
when you were working on your own.
Welcome back.
You can see that she drew another figure right here that's similar to this one, where it has some slanted sides. This time, the top line's bigger than the bottom, but it still has 4 sides, and these horizontal lines are still parallel, whereas the sides would be intersecting. And then you see we have, it looks like a rectangle, but this is still considered, it is a rectangle, but it's also a trapezoid because it has, excuse me, at least 1 pair of parallel sides, because the top and bottom, the horizontal lines are parallel, and also the vertical lines are parallel, and there's 4 sides.
How did you do? Here are the other 2 quadrilaterals I constructed. Let's take a look at this first one here. Can you identify two parallel lines in this trapezoid? It would be this line segment and this line segment are parallel. What about in the third trapezoid I drew? Can you identify two lines here that are parallel? This one actually has two. This line is parallel with this one, and this line is parallel with this one here. Under problem 2, let's construct a quadrilateral with two sets of parallel sides. We'll start by drawing one set of parallel segments.
So now we're going to underline where it says quadrilateral. So we're still drawing a four-sided figure. But how is this question different from number 1, Soren? Soren, unmute yourself, please.
Hello?
Go ahead.
What are we?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Nothing?
Could you answer my question, please?
So you can do a square.
No, that wasn't my question. What was the question that I asked?
Can you show that?
No, I asked you to tell me how this question is different from number 1.
It is.
Look back at number 1 and remind yourself what it asked us to do. And then look at number 2 again and tell me how they're different.
It's telling you to actually draw them.
We had to draw them in number 1 also.
And specify which one is each.
No. Cooper, help him out.
The difference is that you have to draw two sets of parallel sides. There's a quadrilateral with two sets of parallel sides.
Thank you, Cooper. So the difference, Soren, is number 1 has to have at least one set. Number 2 has to have two sets of parallel lines.
The same way we did in problem 1. First, we draw a straight horizontal segment.
So Soren, you should be drawing these right now. Pick up your pencil.
Then we use our right angle template and root to draw a segment parallel
Soren,
to that
pick up your
segment,
pencil.
just like before.
Soren, why aren't you drawing these? Like I'm asking you. It's not fair to everyone that I have to keep stopping. Unmute yourself and tell me why you're ignoring me, please.
I already did it.
Hold it up and show me. I want to see that you did this exactly how she's explaining to you how to do it. Hold it up to the screen. Stop mumbling under your breath and hold it up to the screen, please. Hold it up to the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're sorry for what?
I didn't actually do it. I just got shy.
Okay, but you do this all the time. Pick up where we're going along together. This is the math. This is your math lesson. So pick up your pencil and follow along with the video.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not asking too much.
Next, draw a third segment that crosses
Tyler,
both.
I hope you're following along and drawing also.
Finally, using our ruler and the right angle template, let's draw a fourth segment that crosses the first two segments, and that's also parallel to the third segment that we just drew. Take a moment to compare your quadrilateral with mine. Think, are these shapes drawn in problem 2 trapezoids? They may not look like the trapezoids that we drew previously. Remember though, that a trapezoid has to have at least one pair of parallel sides. So what we just drew is indeed a trapezoid. We call quadrilaterals with two pairs of parallel sides parallelograms. Let's record that word for problem 2.
Okay, so now we're going to write this down. P-A-R. So when a figure has two pair of parallel sides, it's called a parallelogram. P-A-R-A-L-L-E-L. So you have the word parallel. O-G-R-A-M. So it's parallelogram, all one word. And she writes it, and then I'll go ahead and pause. So if you want to copy it off the screen, there you go. Parallelogram. So you're writing that next to number 2 to remind yourself that when a four-sided figure that has two sets of parallel sides is also called a parallelogram. There's so many different ways to describe these figures.
I'd like you to pause the video here now to construct 2 more parallelograms for problem 2.
Okay, so I am going to pause this here to give you time. Now you're going to draw 2 more figures that look differently than the one we drew together that also have 4 sides and 2 pair of parallel sides. So go ahead. I'll give you about 2 minutes to go ahead. And if you have your template and you find a figure on there, you can just go ahead and trace it. If not, use your straight edge to help you draw 2 more parallelograms. When you're finished, if you want to put the little thumb up emoji on your screen, then I'll know you're ready. A little sticker. All right, now let's compare yours to the.
I'll see you back here in a bit. Welcome back. Did you happen to notice that some of the quadrilaterals in problem 1 and 2 are the same? Let's take a look. Remember, that's perfectly fine if they look the same as the ones from problem 1. A trapezoid must have at least one set of parallel sides. A parallelogram is a special trapezoid. It has 2 sets of parallel sides. For problem 3, we need to make a parallelogram with 4 right angles. What do we call 2 lines that intersect at a right angle?
This one's special.
We call them perpendicular lines. Let's begin constructing. First, draw a straight horizontal segment.
So now you're going to be drawing, just like she is, a line segment, and she's going to show you how to make
Then, using your right angle
four
template
angles.
and your ruler, draw a segment that's parallel to the first segment that we just drew. Next, draw a third segment with a right angle perpendicular to the baseline.
Remember, perpendicular means they're intersecting, so they're touching or crossing, but they make that right angle, so it should look like a perfect L. Like a
Finally, draw a fourth segment that is also perpendicular to the first segment. Take a moment to compare your quadrilateral with mine, looking at angle measure and side length. Here we can see that the fourth segment is parallel to the third segment. It also has 4 right angles. Let's identify with a square in each vertex. These quadrilaterals that we just drew have 2 sets of parallel sides, so they're parallelograms and trapezoids. However, our figures have another special attribute. They all have 4 right angles, so they're called rectangles. I'd like you to pause the video here to construct 2 more rectangles for problem 3. I'll see you back here in a bit.
Okay, now you're going to go and write rectangles on number 3, RECTANGLES. And you're going to try to draw 2 other polygons that have 4 sides. Both sides are parallel, and there are 4 right angles. So you should be able to make an L in every corner of your polygon drawing. Okay, I'm going to play it so you can compare your parallelograms with 4 right angles to hers.
Welcome back. Here are the other 2 rectangles I constructed. Great work so far. Let's continue with today's work. Problem 4 requires us to draw a rectangle with sides that are all the same length. First, draw a straight horizontal segment. Then, use your right angle template and your ruler to draw a segment that's parallel to the first segment. Next, draw a third segment with your right angle template that's perpendicular to the baseline. Let's now measure the length of this third side.
So here's the part where it's really important. So hopefully on your template you have a ruler. If not, you could use like a piece of paper and just mark how long it is, but you're going to measure the length of this side because this is the only one that can't be changed right now. And then you're going to make sure that this side, and the other side are all the same length as this one. Because since you're using pencil, she can erase the overlapping and the parts of the lines that go too far.
Once we have the measurement, we'll mark that same length on both this segment and this segment.
She's measuring that side.
We can see that segment, the third segment for my drawing is 3/4 an inch.
So now she's putting that same measurement and putting little tick marks so she knows where 3/4 of an inch is located.
Finally, draw a fourth segment perpendicular to the first segment through those marks. What did we just construct?
Who knows what a figure that's 4 sides, opposite sides are parallel, and all 4 sides are the same length? What type of special quadrilateral is that, Tyler?
Rectangle?
No, we had rectangle for number 3. A rectangle does not have to have all 4 sides the same length. Sophia?
Square?
Say that one with some confidence. I sound like you said square, question mark?
Square.
A square. Let's see.
You're right. It's
right.
a square. A square
So next
is
to
a
number
special
4,
rectangle
SQ
and has all sides of the same length. Remember, if a square is a rectangle, then a square is also a parallelogram and a trapezoid. For today's
Okay, I'm going to stop that there. And we're going to now turn to page 72. And we're just going to look at number 5. Number 5 says to use the word bank to name each shape, being as specific as possible. So I want you to go ahead. I'm going to read across, and you can keep yourself muted, but I just want you to practice saying these words with me. So parallelogram, parallelogram. The second one is trapezoid. You go ahead and try trapezoid. And the other two, I think we should be good. Rectangle and square, because I think you guys have known those for a long time now. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to look at A, B, C, and D. You're going to, and I'll give you a hint, each word is only used once. You're going to match the term with which shape it belongs with. Okay, set 2 minutes on your timer. Two minutes on my timer, and then I'll be back to check with you. Okay, I'm ready to check. All right. Share my document with you.
This assignment, your must do.
Not that. Okay, who would like to tell me, give me some characteristics that you found of letter A? Who would like to do letter A? Sarah?
It has only one pair of parallel sides.
Okay, so we have this little arrow indicates that these two sides are parallel, so they'll never touch. What other characteristic could you name?
The other two, the other the other pair of sides are not parallel. If they keep going on forever, they will intersect.
Okay, so we already said there's one pair of parallel sides. What else could you say is a characteristic of letter A? Come on, this one's really obvious.
It's a trapezoid.
Well, I don't want you to name it yet. You have to give me a name. Giving the name isn't a characteristic. One pair of parallel sides is a characteristic. What else is special to letter A?
4 sides.
There you go, 4 sides. So out of these 4 terms, which one fits best?
Trapezoid.
There you go. Okay, who would like to do letter B? Okay, Cooper, what types of characteristics do you see with letter B?
It has 2 pairs of parallel sides, and it's also a quadrilateral.
Hold on one second. So this one arrowhead shows that these 2 sides are parallel. And then since this has a double arrowhead, that means these 2. So you're correct. There's 2 pair of parallel sides. What was the next thing that you said?
It's also a quadrilateral.
Okay, because it has what?
4 sides.
4 sides. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so what did you find up here would be the best fit for this polygon?
Parallelogram.
There you go. Very good. Parallelogram. Okay, who would like to do letter C? Sophia, what types of characteristics do you see in polygon C?
It has 2 pairs of parallel sides.
Okay, so these ones actually aren't marked, but we can show that I'm actually going to put 1 arrowhead here and 1 here because the top and the bottom will never touch. And then I'm going to do a double arrowhead over here to show that those 2 sides would never touch. Sophia, what do you think these tick mark means? This tick mark means there's 4 of them, 1 on each side. So what's that telling you about each of the sides?
That they're all the same size.
Same length, same size. Very good. And how many sides are there, Sophia?
4.
So 4 sides, all the same length, opposite sides are parallel. What best?
Wait, what did you say? Sorry, my thing just.
Which term best fits?
Oh, square.
Square. Very good. Last one. Who would like to do letter D? Soren? What do you see here? Point out some characteristics for me.
Rectangle, because it's all right. angles.
Okay, so
And
right
it
here we
is
have
a
1,
parallel.
2,
And the
3, 4 right angles. What
And-
else do you see?
and it is a parallelogram
Why?
because each each side is parallel.
So we have 2 pair of parallel sides. So this side and this side are parallel.
Yeah, but it
And this
doesn't
side?
follow the rules of a square.
Correct, because it doesn't have what?
The same size for each line.
Very good. So what would this letter D be classified as? Not a square.
A rectangle.
Very good. Rectangle. Put your hand up if you got all 4 of those correct. And give yourself a pat on the back for today. Good job. Sometimes classifying these are tough just because like Soren did say, well, the rectangle, that could be a quadrilateral, that could be a parallelogram, that is a, there's a lot of a quadrangle because it has 4 angles. So a lot of the terms overlap. We are just looking at kind of filtering out some more specific things today. So do you have any questions about the different types of 4-sided figures we reviewed today? Cooper?
Today was very easy.
Well, good. I'm glad. That means you know a lot about quadrilaterals and polygons. Okay, so there is not an assignment or an exit ticket for today, but I would like you to get on and do some extra math. So that's your assignment for today. All right? Okay, if you don't have any questions, you're free to go. If you do, you can stay on and ask.